Hello and welcome to the CAFMA Connect. I'm your host, Fire Chief Scott Freitag, and with me today is not Chief Fatima. We have two people with us, very special to the organization, out of administration. And I'd just like to point out that before we introduce you, what I have found lately in doing this is that people see me now and run the other direction. And those who come up to me are trying to throw someone else under the bus. Unfortunately for you two, because you're in the front office, it was easy to catch up and took some time. So with us today are Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi.
And Kathy from administration. And so we want to find out about the two of you, but we also want to talk about, we have an administrative one position open because apparently we issued the wrong husband to Carolyn and he got a job in Mesa, so Carolyn is already leaving us. But we hate to see her go, and we thought this would be a great time to talk about our administrative staff, kind of introduce you to them, talk about what the position is, what you look for in a teammate in administration, and how Carolyn has felt about her time here. So let's start with introductions. Carolyn, give us a little bit of your background, where you come from.
Well, how far back do you want to go?
Well, you're fairly young, so it doesn't go back too far.
No.
But where did you grow up?
I grew up mainly in California. We actually lived in Oregon for like 3 years of my life and then moved back to California. And then when I was 18, I moved out to Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, did a little bit of college at NAU, a little bit of college at CCC, and then kind of just worked at a bar and a restaurant for a while. Got my degree from ASU and had my son, started applying, and this opened up, and here I am.
So what's your degree in from ASU?
Psychology.
Psychology. And for me personally, I think a psychology degree is perfect for working at the fire department because we provide a lot of research material with firefighters.
Yeah.
I believe. So
just with firefighters.
Just
not with admin.
Oh, absolutely with admin. And on that note, our latest case study in psychology. Kathy?
I originally from Tucson. Then we moved to Texas because my parents got a job. And then we moved back here as soon as we could because Arizona's my home.
Okay.
My degree is in history, so a very useful degree at the fire department.
Well, if we don't understand where we've been in our history, then we're bound to repeat it,
that's
right?
what I say. Most people roll their eyes.
Yeah, I like history. Now, you studied abroad at one point, is that correct?
I lived abroad.
You lived abroad, okay.
Yes, because I married a foreigner.
You did? So
I did. I lived in Scotland.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, is he from Scotland?
Originally, yes, but he was raised in England, so there's a internal battle all the time. That's a history joke.
Yeah.
That is a history joke. No, yeah, he's from Dorset, the county on the coast.
Okay. Now, how did you guys meet?
We met on a rifle range in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I was on the rifle team in college. And he was visiting. He was a Royal Marine Commando.
Okay.
Which is a British Marine. And he was on leave after serving in Iraq. So that's how we met. And we spent about 2 years doing very long distance. And then eventually got married. I moved to Scotland. Then we moved to Texas.
So you moved back to Texas. And what did you do in Texas?
I did a lot. Websites and social media for an automotive group.
Okay. And what brought you back to Arizona? You just wanted to get
it's
back
just
home?
Okay. Almost all of my family's here. We knew we wanted to be near family.
Yep.
And we didn't have much left in Texas after my parents left. So, yeah, we followed them basically and came home.
Very nice. And so, Carolyn, what led you to apply with CAFMA?
My mom actually found the posting on Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so she gave it to me. Sorry. And told me and told me to apply. But I obviously wanted to do something that meant something to me, to my values, to my goals in life. So I kind of started looking into CAFMA and just really appreciated all the values that the agency has. And I think I'm more than happy with what the agency has given me. It's much more than I expected when I applied. And when I applied, I expected a lot.
Okay.
I read a lot of the review, read the compass, all of that. And it was just something that really spoke to me.
It's interesting because there are organizations who espouse something, but their actions are completely different. And then there are organizations who espouse something and live that through their actions. And so I guess I would ask you, do you believe that in your time at CAFMA that what we say we do and what we do have matched?
100%. Yeah. And I have absolutely no doubt about that. I've seen it throughout my year and almost a half year. Just kind of every day. I think the biggest thing for me was that no one person is more important than another throughout the agency. And I mean, we experience that every day. Our jobs are just as valued as everyone else's.
Actually, I have an example of that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I help to handle the board meetings. And frequently after our meetings, there's a lot to put away. There's a lot we get out for them. And senior staff frequently helps me. I'm an admin assistant one. Right. And they help put away the microphones and the placard, the name thingies. And nobody asked them to do that. They just do it.
Right.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I think that just goes to our expectations of our folks, right? That we help everybody out. We help each other out. We talk a lot about the agency being a system and that everybody's job here is important because if one cog in the wheel's not working, then the wheel doesn't work. And for me anyways, that's important because that's why I go around every morning and interrupt the different divisions. I say it's because of that. It's also because it's just fun to aggravate people. And talk to them, find out. It keeps me in contact with what's going on. And because of COVID this year, I haven't been able to travel as much, so I've been around more, which aggravates some of the managers.
Which is why we have a code word now, so you can't.
We have a code word.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there is
mostly
a tendency.
Just for me.
For me to not sneak in, but walk into admin
it's
and
sneaky.
Quietly walk.
Sneaky.
And, well, sometimes it's on purpose. So, Kathy, what led you to apply here?
Honestly, I can't say much different than Carolyn. I already knew about CAFMA because I lived in Prescott Valley and was aware of the reputation. And I read the entire website, just everything. And so I'd been watching. I think I saw it on Facebook as well. Mm-hmm. And I had been watching. And when I saw that, I was so excited. Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, it's lived up to it 1,000,000%.
Yeah. It's interesting because we're going through a book called The Talent Wars, Senior Staff, Human Resources, and Training. And the idea is, how do you hire for character? And one of the points they make is that if you're interviewing and you have one position available and you end up with 2 high-quality candidates, hire both anyways, figure it out, but don't let the talent go. And you two are the example of that for us because when we interviewed you, we had one position open. Mm-hmm. After your interviews, we just said we can't pick one. We have to bring both on board. And eventually over a period of time, someone else left and so that position was absorbed. But the reality was this was a situation I hadn't been in before. Mm-hmm. Where we had 2 such quality candidates that we said we can't let either go, and we don't want to put either one off for months. We want to bring them on together. Mm-hmm. And from my perspective, you two have surpassed my expectations because I had high expectations for the 2 of you when you came in, and you guys have just been a valuable asset to the team, and you can feel that change in the administrative environment, that team environment. Mm-hmm. And when I go up there now, there's just this comfortable vibe in the room where everybody is, happy and enjoying their work and joking and playing with the puzzle or whatever.
That's Kathy.
We puzzle.
So with the puzzle. So let me ask you this, Carolyn. Obviously, you have to leave, and we don't want to see you leave, but we understand. You need to go where your family is.
Very sad to do it.
But if you're looking for a replacement, you're looking for someone that's going to gel with the team because there's 5 of you up there, mm-hmm. right? And plus the manager. What type of qualities are you looking for?
I think just someone who's positive. I know Kathy and I are both very positive people and very kind of happy-go-lucky. Don't let a lot of things get to you, because it is a busy environment and there's so much going on that I think having a good mentality and a positive mentality is important.
I think that word covers so much too, because I was thinking willingness to learn. Well, if you're positive, that's helpful. And
Right.
flexibility. And I mean that in the best way. That can sound like a negative, but it's really not. We have a lot of cool, challenging stuff that we do, and it can be different day to day. So yeah, positivity for sure. That was really good.
So here's a question for you. You have to field phone calls, and you're screening phone calls on my behalf, because I don't
What?
answer the phone in my office. But you have to listen sometimes to people who are upset about something. And so what skills do you think are important to addressing a customer's concern?
I mean, we kind of talked about this last
We
week.
did.
Because a lot of it is just actively listening. You have to know what it is that they're complaining about, what it is that they want out of the situation, essentially. And I mean, it's a really hard position to be in. Sometimes you have someone who's either angry or sad. They're upset in some sort of way. You're dealing with a lot of emotions. So being able to stay calm and think rationally in that situation and not escalate it.
Right.
Well, and also know that it's not about you. Be able to be there, and they may be yelling. Not often. We do want to hire somebody.
That's true.
But no, occasionally anywhere you work, you're going to get that.
Sure.
And just know that it's not about you. Usually by the time they get to the next person, they're like a kitty cat. They just needed to get some emotions out. And if you know it's not about you, it doesn't hurt
Okay.
afterwards.
So what's the work like in administration? What types of things are you tasked with?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's a hefty question.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we kind of cover
Phone calls.
We cover a lot of, administration stuff, obviously, but then we kind of go into other divisions. We're involved in some things with the EMS division. We do things with our fleet division.
The warehouse.
Warehouse occasionally. And then, I know a lot of, Kathy does annexations. I do fire protection agreements.
Board meetings.
We cover.
The training center.
Right.
Kylie covers the training center. So there's just such a broad range. It's kind of.
And anything we're told to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of documents, you prepare forms.
And Teresa and Marcy do a lot with fire prevention.
Yes, prevention.
Oh, gosh, prevention.
Of course,
Which is
My goodness.
vitally important. Well,
Prevention.
we try to forget them.
No, never.
No, we
No.
don't. We love our prevention
No, we
folks.
do.
Please apply
This is a shout
for
out
the
to
prevention position.
We do.
But we want people to apply for administrative position as well. So I know, Kathy, you talked about some of your background with social media. And so we've made some changes of late and tapped into your talents. And how's that going?
I think it's going great, Chief. No, I've enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's a little different than retail automotive. But no, I'm really liking it, and I think it's going really well, and I hope to keep growing it.
Right. I can tell you I've looked at some of the posts, because before we would just put like a link to the review. Here's your review. And you came to me and said, hey, statistically, if there's a picture, more people will stop and read what you've posted.
Right.
And you gave me 3 options on some great backgrounds. And honestly, since we've put that up, we actually, not that we get a lot of likes when I put the review out, but we have, we have more.
You can blame it on my picture. It's fine.
It's not the picture, it's the words, because these are a lot of words that people don't want to read it.
Yeah.
But the reality is we're getting more with that. And I think the way you've posted things and integrated all of the different social media platforms together has helped our organization grow our social media presence.
Thank you.
So the other task that Kathy has is she now proofreads the review every week to see what it sounds like, and for grammar, obviously. But there's also times where I ask you about content. I know, I think it was the last 2 weeks where I said, hey, you may want to read this one really close because it might be a tad sarcastic. And when I came up and just said, hey, I'm sorry you have to read this, your response was more of, well, you weren't wrong.
You're a truth teller.
Yeah. It's all sarcastic, and I really don't know how to recommend
I
a
didn't
change
change anything. I did not change anything.
Yeah. The good thing is, and you had mentioned this when you came to me and said, hey, look, I'd really like to start proofreading the review. I've worked here for a year. I think I understand where you're coming from and how you articulate things. So I think I can help with that, which for me was great. And since we started doing the podcast, it's forced me to get the review done before Friday morning. So there are people that have a chance to go through it and make sure that I haven't said something completely stupid or false or spelled something incorrectly.
Right.
So that's been a huge help. And so I know that from a senior staff perspective, we look to our administrative folks up front because when we write things, we need someone to proofread what we send out. We need someone that can remind us, hey, aren't you supposed to be over there right now? And I know that sometimes you do that just to get us to leave. We weren't really supposed to be there. Yeah. Look, no comment. I get it. So what do you think the environment in the administrative office is like for you? I mean, when you get up in the morning, you're getting ready for work, is an environment that you think this is inviting, I'm looking forward to the day, or is it I get to go to work?
Well, I would say the former.
Yeah.
I love coming to work. Not only because of the atmosphere of the front office, which is amazing, but just the nature of the work in general. You feel like you're doing something worthwhile. Like you're yes, thank you. Yeah. I was going to trail off there.
Yeah.
But no, you do. And I definitely look forward to it.
It's fulfilling. You're doing things for an agency and you're helping save people's lives. You're helping save people's homes. You're making a difference even if you don't get to interact with these people directly. And I think just that in and of itself makes it such an easy thing to go and go into work. But beyond that, I mean, the environment that we have in our front office is it's so fun. We do work, but it's not
the work gets done.
But it's not a stifling place to be. We are able to ask questions if we don't know something and have discussions and figure out solutions to issues one of us
it's okay not to know something as long as you know where to find the answer or who to go to find the answer, and that's a really supportive environment.
Well, I think it's a great perspective that you share, especially from the standpoint, when we started this conversation, you talked about how it feels like we're all one. No position is more important than the other. And I think part of that is for the individual understanding that you may not be on the engine responding to calls, but what you do is important so that they can respond to calls.
Well,
so you're
I have
part of that.
Literally heard you say that out loud in public in front of people. Like admin's just as important, HR is just as important, prevention is just as important. And that's a really big deal, not only to hear someone say it, but also I feel like it's put into action
right
by everybody. Our boss, Suzanne, Chief Tharp.
Right. So, and during COVID, we didn't shut down our offices. Now, we may have closed to the public, but we kept everybody coming into work to give some semblance of normalcy. But I think we did some stuff during that as a result of some things that you all did with bringing in some board games and puzzles. And
we played Uno.
You played Uno.
We had a spirit week.
We had a spirit week.
That's it. And you guys were Maverick and Goose, or was that for Halloween?
That was just regular old Halloween.
Yeah, that was just Halloween.
Yeah.
We did. We were Maverick. Spirit Week was fun.
It was.
And it was right after, everything started happening with COVID and the world started to close down.
And we didn't have a lot of information at the time, so it was a little stressful.
Kind of lent a little bit of fun to, just whatever was going on in the world at that point. So
Well, and as bad as COVID has been for everyone, it just from my perspective looking at it, and I don't know how you feel, but when I look at the office, the administrative offices in general, and it seems like that we've come together more closely as a team because we kept coming into work. We brought the games in. We had didn't realize how many artists we had. We had the sheet in the front office that you guys put out with that people could draw on. We have more puzzles. HR had one. Now there's one in admin for people to work on. And from my perspective, I've gone back to Chief Tharp and the managers and said, don't stop doing what you're doing. Keep doing it. And what I mean by that is don't stop bringing Uno into the front office to take a break and play a game. Don't pick up the puzzles. Keep the sheets out for drawing artwork, whatever it is, because the work product, in my opinion, is great. It's absolutely outstanding. The amount of work that gets done, and yet it's an environment that, from my perspective, when I walk in, looks like it's fun to be there.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not just saying that because the fire chief is the one interviewing them. There's no script here. We didn't prepare this. We're just having a conversation. So, Carolyn, what are you going to miss about leaving here?
I'm going to miss my whole CAFMA family, honestly. Kathy, obviously. Kathy, everyone else. Just kidding. No, I'm really going to miss just my CAFMA family and the environment that we have here. I think it's such a rare thing to find. Just, I don't know how to explain it. It's very welcoming. It's, you feel like you can go up to anyone that works here and strike up a conversation, and it's not going to be weird. I mean, it's me, so it might be weird, but
right?
That's a personal.
I think we're all a little bit weird.
But I'm definitely going to miss just the environment. It's a great environment to work in. It's a great place to be. I think it's going to be really hard to beat it and find something that is as fulfilling.
Well, we've called around trying to help.
I know.
Trying to help you find you a good place to work, because we want you to go somewhere where you can be happy and some place that they're going to appreciate the skills that you bring to the table. Yeah. And I think that's half the battle, is getting in and sharing with folks what those skills are. So we reached out because we thought, wow, you're someone that, if you want to stay on the fire service side of things, that any fire department would be lucky to have you on their team. And so hopefully that's going to work out. And
I'm hoping so.
Even after you're gone, we're going to continue to support those efforts.
Thank you.
Kathy, what are you going to do?
I don't know.
Cry.
Rely on the rest of my awesome team. Right. I mean, that sounded sarcastic, but that's seriously true. And I hope that the next person that we get in the office is amazing, and that we can continue to have fun and brag about it to Carolyn.
Yeah, make me feel bad about leaving. So
that she misses us.
Right.
She's only we'll see her all the time. She's only going to Phoenix.
Right. Well, and you're always welcome back up. But I would agree with what you said, Kathy. I think there is an amazing administrative team up front between everybody that's there: Kylie, Marcy, Teresa, Suzanne as the manager up front, and the work that you all do and the collaboration between all the divisions. HR, finance, ops when they come in. I enjoy going up front every morning and having a conversation just to see what you guys are going to come up with. Yeah. Because I just never know what it's going to be.
You do not know.
No.
Flexibility, like I said.
Wheels on the bus. Nobody ever knows.
Wheels on the bus.
And sometimes I just like to throw things out and see what happens.
Same.
Yeah.
I think we all do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like walking up and shredding documents and saying loudly,
scaring our boss. Yeah.
Don't let Suzanne know that I'm shredding documents she may have wanted to log somewhere, just to see what kind of response we can get. Yeah. I mean, in reality, I can just go by the copy room each morning and grab blank paper.
That would be amazing. That would be.
And just randomly say things, because the look on her face the other day was priceless to me.
Yeah.
She just not
Records
sure.
retention is important, kids.
Please don't shred
your documents.
So, Carolyn, to start to close this out, if you were to just in a few words tell someone why they should apply to CAFMA to be part of the administrative team, what would they be?
No pressure.
No.
It's a really great group of people. CAFMA is a wonderful organization, and they truly care about their people, take care of all their people. It's a family, and they treat it like a family. And that's
okay. And Kathy, if you had to tell someone why,
because she
she
went first and she said the good stuff.
It's because she's leaving.
No, it's absolutely that. Can I give an example that might be a little bit long, not too long, but not short? So Carolyn and I hired in together, as well as one of the HR ladies, Lacey, and we both needed to use up pretty early on all of our leave time. I had an illness. She was pregnant. And so we had to ask for help, leave donations, which was humbling in and of itself with the response that we got. But also, I am assuming it was you or someone on senior staff that said, maybe our policy needs to change to help new hires, because sometimes you get really, really sick and you can't help it. And, we don't, if everyone else can keep their time, that helps them. It helps us not have to go through that. So literally, I from the time you said something about it to the time that policy was changed and approved by the board, it was like 2 months.
Any time.
And all of a sudden now new hires, I believe, get their sick leave, their whole year of sick leave up front. Right?
Yes.
That's
they
the policy.
Loaded,
And we got ours not retroactive. How do you explain that for Lacey and I? Because we actually got more
right
when it went into effect, because we got the remainder of our year. That's what I was trying to say. And just for that, for anyone on senior staff, you to even care about that, to see a potential need and to get it done. And our board, thank you to our board of directors, for approving that. And now new hires have a little bit more of a cushion if something unexpected and terrible happens to them. I mean, that's family. So that's off of your eloquent thing there. I'll say that. Yeah.
Well, and when you look at something like that, I think it's other organizations need to look at similar things, because you hire people in, especially if you're hiring young families in, or someone just starting a family whose spouse is pregnant or that individual is pregnant, having that flexibility, that opportunity for them to be able to have that time, so they don't feel like
it was horrible.
Somehow this is going to be an issue for them in new employment, because that's not how we want people to feel.
Right.
That's not what we're about. So
it was incredible.
I appreciate the example. It's very nice to have something like that pointed out. But I think from the board to senior staff and all throughout the organization, we try to look at those things and say, wow, this doesn't seem to be working the way that it should. Can we change it to make it better?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what we're working on through the wage and benefit study now, as well as pretty much everything. We're always looking to and evaluating, is what we're doing working, or do we need to adjust? And it doesn't matter who brings it up. We need to know.
Yeah.
And so if you have ideas about things, and I know that both of you have come up with ideas and said, hey, could we adjust this? Does this make it better? Now, we're still working with Kathy on, you don't have to ask permission for this. Just do it. Especially on the social media, because I know she's asked me a few times, well, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Chief, I hate to point
learning
it
the
out.
ropes.
I hate to point it out, but your grammar is off in this sentence. I'm like, well, did you change it?
I did. I said, may I please fix this?
May I please?
May I please fix it?
And, in the reality, we had been doing that for each other before we had Kathy running most of it.
Sure.
I would see something somebody wrote, and I might go in and edit it, or they do mine for me, just because we want to have that professional appearance. And not everything you put on social media or in a letter format or in an email is perfect, right? All right, well, I really want to thank you both for being here. I know you tried to avoid me, but I was able to catch up with you. But I appreciate you coming in and talking about your time here and kind of explaining to the audience what working in administration, working at CAFMA is really about. So, again, thank you very much for that. until next week, if you have an interest in applying for the administrative assistant job with us, please visit our website at www.cazfire.org. Visit our social media, take a look at the organization, talk to people about us, and see if it's a fit for you. And we look forward to hearing from you.